If anyone has watched this channel a bit, I've made some videos recently on some RPGMaker games, which I'm definitely going to continue doing because I've been enjoying them immensely. Playing some older games let me play some more modern clones, and then from there, I ended up doing hours of research on the genre, and I found a lot of games I want to play next. I'm going to list out some of the more modern recent releases that I think look compelling for anyone else interested, and I'll also include some that are up and coming as well. Every game on this list is one I'm genuinely interested in playing, so if you enjoyed the genre, you most likely will too. Starting the list is the game that motivated me to think of this video. I actually have played this one and just made a theory video on it. It's called Eve of Souls Static Pod. It takes inspiration from The Witch's House and Yomawari. The story is of a young girl that has had her past purposefully wiped away, either through trauma or something else. She takes pills to keep the memories of a traumatic event hidden. The game is built around her ligophobia, also known as extreme fear of the dark. Each night she enters a nightmare-like world that tells her a bit more about her past and gives context to what has actually gone on in her mind. Right now, the game is only 3 chapters in out of 5 total since it's an early access title. Hence why I made a theory video. It's not known for sure if the next 2 chapters will ever release, but the dev has noted that they're going to keep us updated. It was extremely interesting when I played through it though, and I would recommend it to anyone watching this video. Cursed Mansion is a very recent release. It just came out on March 30th of this year, which is about a month ago now. If there's one horror environment I love, it's when a complete story takes place all in one single building. No big adventure, no drawn-out escape, just one isolated space. The old mansions of Resident Evil 1 and Fatal Frame 1 are both my favorite just because of the mansion aesthetic and the confining atmosphere. It seems to be lore-heavy and looks to take notes from the survival horror genre. It's about a girl trapped within a mansion, obviously, and she can't get out for reasons involving ghosts as well as time manipulation of some kind. Alone released 2 years ago. It's only $1 on the Steam store, and its description is very simple. It's as follows. You have to help a guy named Young Shul, trapped inside his home, navigate the house to protect himself from a suspicious person. The artwork for the game is a female character's silhouette standing in a doorway with a knife. She looks ratty and mangled. This could be a straightforward home break-in story, or maybe something more, but it looks good no matter how it ends up playing out. Tied Up came out last year, and it seems like it takes inspiration from Yume Nikki, but it looks like it prioritizes the horror aesthetic over having any hint of color. I love how purposefully unsaturated the art is. It reminds me of something grainy and retro that I can't really connect to anything else in my head. Tied Up looks very original in a promising sort of way, and I have no idea what it is, but it looks great. Also, the enemies in the game look like the best of any on this list. So this is technically a modern RPGMaker game. It's the last in a 4-part series that started with The Crooked Man, which I assume is the most popular entry that people know about, but it's actually derived an entire series. I don't actually know if these titles are connected in a similar way that games like Misao and Mad Father are, but I hope so. And it seems probable since these games came out later than them, and they probably took some inspiration from the already made universes of RPGMaker games. Each game in the series is titled The Something Man. This one is about a young boy who is called a demon child. He's outcast and alone. He takes shelter in a building and loses his pet mouse inside. The story begins as he delves deeper in the structure to find his mouse.
Don't go. I don't want to be alone.
Cat in the Box is another in the long line of mansion simulators. Cat in the Box is about a girl who sneaks into a mansion at nighttime. A cult supposedly owns it, and she wants to get footage of the inside because of rumors of it being haunted. This game looks most like the other RPGMaker horror games I played recently, which boast that it's going to be good, but also, I'm going to stay away from this one for a while so I don't get too burnt out on too much of the same thing. Though the story itself looks like it could be one of the best. I think it starts out as a slasher game and then turns into something else, but I'm not completely sure on that. The Casebook of Arne is probably the least horror-y on here. It's more horror aesthetics rather than tone, but it does look visually great. It kind of reminds me of if Disgaea was turned into an indie RPG game. It's a detective game that involves a vampire and a human girl who stumble upon a murder. It does look interesting and different enough from the rest to be a refreshing atmosphere change. And of course, I always love a good detective story with a darker backdrop. This one looks to be a lot more plot focused. Tsugunohi is a large series of short horror side-scroller games that are semi-popular in Japan. I don't know if they're actually made in RPGMaker for sure. Steam lists it as they are, and it's just one game that has 9 different entries from the series for $10. The creepy art and blurred out faces looks great. They all have overly thematic visuals of J-horror movies, and it looks pulled off very well. I have no idea what the plots of these games actually are, but the art and sound design are more than enough for my money. Causality is marketed as a survival horror game of tag. The protagonist enters a school to save 3 students trapped within. It has some of the best looking cutscenes on this list, and it looks to be more gameplay based. I'm not sure what it means by involving tag, but it states that you fight spirits in the school. So I assume it's more of a run and gun, collect the clues type of play. The cover of the game is of 2 detectives' faces looking forward, which made me think of Death Note. I doubt that has much to do with the actual game, but it did intrigue me right away. Also, the dialogue does look top-notch. Now, I assume most people know about this one, and it's been getting a cult fan base of its own. This game is right up my alley on everything I love, but I still haven't touched it. It's one of those titles that has been on my wish list, and I've watched videos on it on top of that, all in preparation. I know it's going to eat up an arc of my life when I play through them. There are actually 2 Fear and Hungers now, a sequel game just released last year. They're full-fledged, hardcore RPGs with a horror setting. Both Fear and Hunger games take place in the same world, but with many years passing in between them. It's a bleak, unforgiving world where each characters have their own weaknesses and minor strengths. They will die, you will lose, choices can make or break your playthrough. The story looks incredible, and if you were looking for an RPGMaker horror game to play, this is the one without question for me. I will be putting videos on this game on my personal channel when I do get around to playing them. But regardless, this is the game that is what I think is the newest, most trendy, most popular RPGMaker horror game of modern times. And from what it looks like, I think it deserves it already, and I haven't even played it yet. I hope this list helped anyone find out what to play next, or maybe just to see some games you haven't heard of. I'm going to be playing most of these on here, so expect some videos of multiple in the future. Thanks for watching all the way through if you did. Let me know what other RPGMaker horror games that came out in the last few years you'd like to see covered, and which ones you're interested in playing. If you like content like this, we're a fully indie channel. Like and subscribe and all that if you want to. Goodbye!